Snow White was the fairest in the land, and the evil queen's jealousy grew stronger each day. The queen's magic could not keep Snow White down for long. Meanwhile, Cinderella's fairy godmother gave her a magical potion to protect the prince, but in her hurry, she forgot to deliver it at the ball. Luckily, that very potion saved Snow White's life when the queen struck her again with dark magic. Now, Snow White, Prince Charming, and Cinderella are together. They've defeated the queen's spell once, but the queen is still out there, plotting in secret. And far away, a prince is searching for the mysterious girl who left behind her glass slipper. The adventure is only beginning. A few days had passed in the kingdom of Prince Charming. The sun was shining bright, the birds were singing cheerfully, and all seemed peaceful. But far away, the evil queen paced back and forth in her chamber. Her long cloak swirled behind her, and her eyes glowed with anger. She raised her hand toward the mirror that stood in the corner of the room. "Mirror, mirror on the wall," she said slowly, her voice echoing through the halls. "Who is the fairest of them all?" It was Snow White, her cheeks rosy, her smile bright, her heart shining through her eyes. The mirror's voice rumbled gently. "Snow White is still the fairest of them all." The queen clenched her fists. "I will not allow it." She stumped to her long table covered with bottles, jars, herbs, and glowing powders. Slowly, very slowly, she began to brew a new potion. She poured a stream of blue liquid that hissed and bubbled, sprinkled in sparkling green dust that fizzed into smoke, and stirred it with her silver wand until the mixture glowed purple. "This," she whispered with a wicked smile, "is the aging potion. Whoever drinks it will grow old too fast. Their beauty will fade, their youth will vanish, and soon they will be no more." She held the bottle high, watching the purple light dance on the walls. Across the chamber, high on a golden shelf, another bottle shimmered. This one was filled with green light, warm and gentle. The queen glanced at it. "And here sits the reviving potion, powerful enough to undo my spells. But no one will ever reach it. It is mine alone." She turned back to her purple brew, laughing softly. Then she raised her arms, whispered a spell, and with a flash of light, her body began to change. Her skin turned to feathers, bright red, golden yellow, and shining blue. Her arms stretched into wings. Her voice became the squawk of a bird. In seconds, the evil queen was gone, and in her place was a beautiful macaw. She flapped her wings and soared out the tall castle window, flying across the night sky toward Snow White's kingdom. Meanwhile, in Prince Charming's castle, Snow White, Cinderella, and Prince Charming sat together in the royal hall. A golden table stood before them, covered with scrolls, candles, and maps. They were making plans to stop the evil queen forever. Prince Charming spoke firmly. "We must be brave. We must protect the people." Snow White nodded. "We must show kindness too. Kindness can break any spell." Cinderella smiled softly. "And we must stay together. Together we can face anything." Just then the doors of the hall opened, and King Jonathan, Prince Charming's father, walked in. His voice was strong and full of pride. "My son, you have found a bride whose heart is pure and true. The kingdom needs hope, and it needs joy. You must marry Snow White, and you must marry her now." The room fell silent for a moment. Then Snow White blushed, her cheeks turning pink like roses. Prince Charming bowed his head with respect, and Cinderella clapped her hands with joy. The king declared that the royal wedding would be held in just 1 week, filling the castle with excitement. Servants hurried through the halls, whispering about gowns and decorations. The cooks began preparing rich feasts, and musicians tuned their instruments for the grand celebration. Even the animals in the gardens seemed to twirl and dance as if sharing in the happiness of the news. But in the corner of the hall, Cinderella lowered her eyes. "I am so happy for you both," she said gently, "but my stepmother will be wondering where I am. She will grow suspicious if I do not return home. I must go back, even if only for a short while." Snow White squeezed her hand. "We will miss you, dear Cinderella, but we will wait for your return." Prince Charming added, "Go safely. When you come back, we will be ready for the wedding, and together we will defeat the queen." Cinderella hugged them both and left for her village, her heart torn between duty and love. That evening the castle was glowing with light. Golden chandeliers sparkled, music filled the air, and Snow White sat at the grand table, smiling as she ate her dinner with Prince Charming. She laughed gently, thinking about her wedding day to come. High above, the macaw fluttered through a tall window and perched on a beam. It watched carefully as the servants placed Snow White's plate before her. The bird's eyes glimmered with mischief. With a flick of her claw, the macaw tipped the purple aging potion into Snow White's food. No one saw the tiny drops dissolve and disappear. Snow White lifted her fork and tasted the food with a happy smile. Everything seemed perfectly ordinary, and she felt no reason to worry. She finished her meal with grace, her heart filled with joy. Turning to Prince Charming, she kissed him softly on his hand and whispered, "In just 1 week, we will be married and our lives will change forever." Her eyes sparkled with hope as she bid him good night. Then she went to her chamber, slipping beneath the silken covers, and drifted into dreams of a beautiful wedding day filled with music, laughter, and love. But when the morning sun rose, things were very different. Snow White stirred in her bed, stretched her arms, and slowly opened her eyes. She touched her face and gasped. Her skin was wrinkled, and her body felt weak and tired. Prince Charming saw her. "Snow White, my love, what has happened?" Snow White looked in the mirror and cried softly, "Oh no, the Queen's magic has found me." Suddenly, the room filled with a cloud of smoke, and the evil Queen appeared, her laughter echoing through the castle. "This time, no one can save you, not your prince, not your friends, not even your little Cinderella. You will age faster and die within a week." And with that, she vanished, leaving only her echo behind. Far away in her small village, Cinderella was facing her own troubles. Her stepmother stood in the doorway, her sharp eyes narrowing as she crossed her arms. "Where were you when your sisters and I left for the ball last night? When I came back, you were not in the house. Tell me, Cinderella, where had you gone?" Cinderella bowed her head and answered softly, "The neighbors were unwell. They called for help and I stayed to care for them." Her stepmother narrowed her eyes. "Lies! I do not believe you." From that moment on, she kept Cinderella under close watch. That night, as Cinderella lay sadly on her bed, a warm glow filled the room. The fairy godmother appeared, her wand glowing with starlight. "My dear Cinderella, Snow White is in grave danger. The Queen has struck her with the aging potion." Cinderella sat up. "Oh no, I must go to her at once. But I cannot leave the house. My stepmother already suspects me." The fairy godmother smiled. "Do not worry, my child. I have a plan." The next morning, a knock came at the door. Cinderella's stepmother opened it, and she gasped. Standing there was Cinderella's father, or so it seemed. In truth, it was the fairy godmother in disguise. "I have returned," she said, "and I have found work for Cinderella. If she comes with me, she will earn gold coins for the family." At the mention of gold, the stepmother's eyes glittered. She thought for a while, then nodded. "Very well, let her go." Cinderella quickly packed her things and followed her father out of the house. Once they were safe on the road, the fairy godmother dropped her disguise, twirling back into her sparkling self. Cinderella threw her arms around her. "Thank you." But just as Cinderella left her house, a royal carriage pulled up. It was Prince Henry, carrying a single glass slipper. He knocked on the door, calling, "I am searching for the girl whose foot fits this slipper." The stepsisters rushed forward, shoving their feet into the tiny shoe. The stepmother pushed them closer, insisting, "Try again, my daughters, try again." But no matter how they struggled, the slipper did not fit. With a graceful wave of the fairy godmother's wand, they were carried through a swirl of golden sparkles and in the blink of an eye reached Prince Charming's kingdom, where Snow White lay under the queen's cruel spell. The fairy godmother's face grew serious as she spoke. "Snow White can only be cured if you find the reviving potion. But the potion is brewed from a special golden flower, and that flower is guarded by a powerful witch." Cinderella said, "The evil queen's spell has given us only a week to save Snow White. I will try to find the golden flower. Prince Charming, you must stay here and care for her. She needs your strength beside her." Prince Charming hesitated, but he knew Cinderella was right. He gently held Snow White's hand and nodded. The 7 dwarfs accompanied Cinderella, each one carrying a lantern that glowed like starlight. Together, they set off into the dark forest, the path ahead filled with mystery and magic, yet lit by their courage and friendship. Meanwhile, in Cinderella's village, Prince Henry frowned. "The girl I seek is not here." With a heavy sigh, he turned away, still searching, unaware of the destiny waiting just ahead.
Check out my other channel, My Amazing Mind, specially created for preschool learning, with fun lessons on alphabets, numbers, animal names, bird names, and more.
More magical episodes to come! Support by subscribing to my channel!